Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Whether you're an OG PUBG fan or a brand new survivor making your way into the battlegrounds, a lot has changed with PUBG over the last 1 to 2 years. In today's video, we're going to be going over everything major that's changed, getting you prepared for their latest map, Rondo, which comes to live server December 6th for PC and December 14th for console. Let's jump in. All right, starting off with tip number 1. This is going way back to September 2021 with PUBG Update 13.2. We saw the release of the Blue Zone Grenade. Now, the Blue Zone Grenade creates an expanding blue zone with a maximum radius of 10 meters, which lasts 5 seconds. It maintains its full size for another 5 seconds, then will start to decrease down and disappear for another 5 seconds. So that's a total of 15 seconds of damage you're going to get from this grenade. Now, it can be used very effectively if you want to push players out of a certain piece of cover, building, or area. And my personal favorite method of using the Blue Zone Grenade is to push a compound after knocking an enemy player to push the rest of their teammates out of cover, or it can be used defensively if you want to deny certain choke points for an attacking team. Fast forward into update 14.2, we saw the introduction of the M79 Smoke Grenade Launcher. Now, the M79 takes the place of your pistol or sidearm slot and allows you to create a quick smoke cover even over long distances. It can be used strategically to blind your enemies, cover your down teammates, or help create an escape path if you find yourself in a losing battle. Now, my favorite use case for the M79 are shooting loot drops to pre-cover upon arrival, or smoking an enemy's position or window to allow your team to advance. This is especially helpful if you're pinned down by enemy snipers or enemies with high ground cover. Be warned, however, when shooting the M79 too close to yourself, it will cause a delay for the initial smoke to trigger out. In these instances, using a handheld smoke grenade is still the preferred method. All right, moving to update 17.1 in April of 2022, we saw the introduction of the new Ace 32 assault rifle. This was the newest 7.62 AR that was introduced as a great alternative to the popular but hard to tame barrel, boasting high stability and low recoil while still offering great damage numbers that the 7.62s are known for. Most OG veterans will tell you the Ace is the M4 of the 7.62 world because it's very dependable and can accept the full suite of attachments. For me, my favorite attachments are the compensator, vertical grip or thumb grip, heavy tack stock, and the extended quick draw magazine. Speaking of new weapons, update 22.2 introduced the FAMAS into the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. The FAMAS is the latest addition to PUBG's care package only weaponry. It's a sleek and powerful French-made assault rifle that packs a punch with a high rate of fire and a minimal need for attachments, making it a very deadly weapon right out of the box. This can be seen as a significant drawback to some, but I'd actually challenge you to think of the FAMAS not as an assault rifle, but as the vector of the assault rifle world. If you do, then I think it'll all start to make sense for you. Now, with the FAMAS going into the care package, that forced the other 5.56 assault rifle to leave the crate and become a world spawn weapon. Now, even though the AUG received some nerfs to its stats, it still remains as one of the dominant top 2 world spawn assault rifles in PUBG, right next to the barrel. Now, moving on to update 23.1, the always-on parachutes were introduced as a method for players to be able to redeploy their parachutes with unlimited use throughout each match. This opened the door for many new tactics to be explored and really emphasized the need to always look up. Now, a couple of critical tips to remember with this new feature is that you do have to press F to redeploy the parachute before hitting the ground. Once you land, there is a 1 to 2 second delay before you're able to pull out your weapon and return fire. And last but not least, if the enemy does see you and shoot you out of the sky, your teammates will not have a chance to res you. Speaking of being rezzed, update 23.2 brought what was probably the biggest update to PUBG since this game went free to play. The recall/blue chip system, otherwise known in the community as the revive system, was introduced as a way for players to bring their dead teammates back to life by completing a list of timed activities during the first 7 phases of play. Now, every player starts with a blue chip that contains their biometric signature in their inventory. If your teammate dies, you can retrieve that chip from their death box and bring it to one of the many randomly spawned recall towers across the map. Once activated, the dead teammate will be recalled to the start of the next circle phase indicated on their screen. The surviving teammate, however, does have to stay alive during this waiting period. Otherwise, the teammate never comes back. Keep in mind, once your teammate does come back, they won't have any loot, so you'll need to be prepared to help them get all their new gear once again. Now, you may be lucky enough to find a very rare spawned item called the blue chip transmitter. The blue chip transmitter can bring back a dead teammate on the spot as long as you have their blue chip in your inventory, not requiring you to have to find any of the recall towers on the map. Now, while this system isn't perfect and certainly needs some attention to a few key features, it does a really good job of keeping the teams together and giving the surviving teammates something to fight for. Having said that, this recall feature is only available currently on the larger 8x8 maps such as Erangel, Miramar, Destin, and Rondo. Tego and Vikendi, on the other hand, have what's called a comeback arena, a different method for revives, and the other maps, Sandhawk, Karakin, Paramo, and Haven, don't have any revive features to speak of. Hopefully this is addressed and all of the systems are unified in the near future for all players to enjoy. In addition to the revive feature, PUBG also added a really neat feature that if a player gets knocked, a teammate or an enemy, you can actually pick them up and put them inside of a vehicle. So the DBNO allows you to play Weekend at Bernie's with a knocked teammate or enemy, throw them in a vehicle, and go for a safer location to be rezzed. Now keep in mind, when you're a knocked player, if you crawl away or you're moving in a vehicle, you do bleed out faster. The clan system was also introduced with this update, which was a great addition to PUBG. The clan system allows friends and communities to show off their clan tags, work together to increase their clan levels, and as a clan member, you can even chat with other members in the clan chat and look at each other's match histories to see who's been bringing home the most chicken dinners. Number 7 is update 24.1, which brought a lot of quality of life changes to the ranked mode for PUBG, including the addition of the jammer pack, which allows a certain amount of blue zone damage to be absorbed, the introduction of the blue zone grenade, mortars, Panzerfaust, and emergency pickups to be added to all maps. And for those that don't know, e-pickups are a great way for you and your team to rotate safely to a new area in the next safe zone to take a strong compound or high ground. Just be aware that a good team will always be looking up when they hear the e-pickup helicopter, and you will have no way to defend yourself if you're spotted too soon. Next up is update 25.2, which brought the brand new 762 DMR, the Dragunov. The Dragunov was a brand new hybrid DMR, which has a much higher headshot damage, yet lower rate of fire when compared to other weapons in its category, giving it a very high risk, high reward feel. Specifically, the Dragunov is the only DMR that can one-shot a full health level 2 helmet target at 105 meters away and a level 1 helmet target at 350 meters away, making it extremely deadly early and late game. Now, this weapon does come with its trade-offs, however, due to its lower rate of fire and slower bullet velocity when compared to something like the very popular 5.56 DMR, the Mark 12. You're not going to be able to shoot nearly as many targets in the same amount of time, and if you do not hit your headshots, your damage per second will actually be much lower when compared to these other high rate of fire DMRs. Combine that with its lower bullet velocity, and you'll still find many veteran players who prefer the DMRs such as the Mark 12 or the SLR. In my opinion, after using all of the weapons for a few months, I typically will go for a Dragunov DMR if I'm playing solos or duos, but if I find myself playing squads with my friends, I do want a higher rate of fire DMR that can land much more consistent long-range shots. All right, guys, so that's all I got for you today on everything you need to get caught up on with PUBG ahead of Rondo's map release. Now, if you find today's video helpful, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with a buddy, and if you want more tip videos like this, I've already got an ultimate PUBG guide playlist created for you. I'll link that down below, and let me know in the comments what features and tips you'd like to see next in an upcoming video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and keep playing PUBG.